This video is about she was his Luna, but the goddess cursed them. If this story captivates you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. She was his Luna, but the goddess cursed them. The moon hung low in the velvet sky, a silver sentinel casting its luminescence over the dense woods of Evernite. Shadows danced under its gaze as whispers of the night echoed through the trees. In the heart of the sanctuary, two souls were bound by destiny, but torn by a curse. Alyssa stood at the edge of the clearing, her heart pounding like a war drum. The cold breeze tousled her long, dark hair, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. She could sense him before she saw him. His presence was electric, a magnetic pull that drew her to the very core of her being. "Caden," she whispered, barely audible, as if saying his name would unravel the fragile thread holding her world together. He materialized from the shadows, tall and rugged, with eyes that burned like molten gold beneath the moonlight. Caden, the alpha of the Silverthorn pack, was everything she had ever desired and everything she could never have. "Alyssa," he breathed, his voice a low rumble that sent shivers down her spine. "What are you doing here?" The weight of his gaze made it hard to breathe. I needed to see you," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I can't stop thinking about the ritual," he finished for her, his expression darkening. "It's forbidden, you know that." "I don't care about the rules, I care about you." She stepped closer, the unyielding forest seeming to collapse around them, isolating them in their own world. "What if we didn't let the curse control us?" Caden's jaw clenched, a flicker of struggle flashing across his features. "It's not that simple, Alyssa. The goddess has made her choice. We were bound by fate, but that fate is tainted. Fate is not set in stone." Her voice rang out, echoing through the trees. "You are my mate, Caden. This bond is a punishment," he growled, frustration lacing his tone. "You don't understand. Every wolf knows the tale of the goddess's wrath. If we break tradition, we risk everything, our packs, our lives." Tears welled in her eyes, blurring the edges of his face. "But I can't live without you. I don't care about the packs or the roles we play. I only care about us." Caden's heart ached with her words, yet the shadow of the curse loomed larger than the moon overhead. "You deserve more than this, Alyssa. You deserve a life free of chaos and bloodshed." "And you think I can just walk away?" she snapped, desperation rising like a tide. "You are my mate. How can you want to push me away?" The tension thickened between them, palpable and raw. Caden's instinct screamed at him to pull her close, to claim her as they were destined to be. Yet, the fear of the goddess's curse kept him rooted in place. "I have to protect you," he murmured, his voice quieter now, haunted. "Our love is a fire that could consume us both." "Then let it burn," she cried, frustration bleeding into her words. "Let it burn bright and fierce, we can fight it together." Caden's resolve faltered, and for a moment he stepped forward, allowing his fingers to brush against her cheek. "You don't know what you were asking." "Maybe I don't," she admitted, her breath hitching as she leaned into his touch. "But I do know that I love you, and I refuse to let some ancient curse dictate my life." "Love is a luxury we cannot afford," he said, his voice breaking. "You don't know the pain it brings when fate is cruel." She searched his eyes, seeing the vulnerability hidden beneath the alpha facade. "Then let us defy it. If we were meant to be, we can be cursed forever." Silence enveloped them, a heavy blanket of uncertainty. Caden's instincts warred with his mind, and in that stillness the forest held its breath. "Alyssa," he began, but the moment was shattered by a distant howl, a chilling reminder of the world outside their bubble. "Caden," she pleaded, her heart racing. "What was that?" He turned sharply, a primal instinct igniting within him. "Stay back." "The patrol?" she asked, fear creeping into her voice. "Something is wrong," he said, eyes narrowing as he shifted into his wolf form, a majestic creature of ebony and gold. "I'll come back for you." "No," she shouted, but he was already sprinting into the shadows, a blur of muscle and fur. Alyssa stood frozen, drip pulling in her stomach as the howls grew closer, an ominous symphony that heralded danger. She knew she should run, but her feet felt glued to the earth, her heart tethered to the man who had just left her side. The moment stretched into eternity. The moon's glow flickered behind a cloud, and in that dim light she sensed movement. A figure emerged from the trees, cloaked in darkness, eyes gleaming with malice. "Ah, the little Omega," the figure said, voice dripping with disdain. "Lost without your alpha." Alyssa's heart raced. It was Mara, the beta female of the rival pack. "What do you want?" Mara smirked, stepping closer, a predator stalking its prey. "To show you how weak love makes you. Your precious Caden is distracted, and his pack is vulnerable." "What have you done?" Alyssa's voice quivered with fear. Just a little adjustment to the patrol, Mara purred, eyes glittering with a sadistic pleasure. Can't he have you two meddling in our affairs, now can we? Ah! Alyssa shouted, the word tearing from her throat. I'll pay for this. Will I? Mara laughed, the sound sharp and cold. You think your love can protect you? You eat nothing without Caden, just a pawn in this game. The darkness swelled around Alyssa, but she wouldn't be broken. You re wrong, she said, her voice steady despite the fear. Love isn't weakness, it is our strength. Mara's expression soured, and she lunged forward, but Alyssa was quicker. The adrenaline surged through her veins, and she turned, sprinting into the woods, dodging low branches and leaping over fallen logs, heart pounding wildly. Every instinct urged her to find Caden, to warn him. She could feel the connection between them, the invisible thread that tethered her to his heart. With each step, the world around her blurred, a cacophony of rustling leaves and distant howls. She could almost hear Caden's voice calling to her, urging her to safety, to him. But the deeper she went, the more disorienting the forest became. Shadows morphed, and eerie whispers tangled in her thoughts, echoing Mara's taunts. You re weak without him. No, she murmured, fighting against the despair clawing at her heart. I am strong, we are strong. Suddenly she stumbled into a clearing, the moon illuminating an ancient stone altar at its center place of power and mystery. It pulsed with energy, a resonance that tugged at her very essence. Caden, she shouted, desperation spilling from her lips. But only silence answered her, an emptiness that echoed the void of her heart. As she stood there, the air thick with tension, Alyssa felt something shift within her, a whisper of the goddess's presence, a reminder of the bond they shared. If they were to break the curse, they must confront it together. Come to me, Caden, she whispered, eyes closed, willing the universe to hear her plea. Find me. The night held its breath in anticipation, the moonlight shimmering like a promise. Little did she know, the battle for their love had only just begun. Asterisk to be continued. Asterisk. Hashashi was his lunar, but the goddess cussed them part two. The stillness of the clearing enveloped Alyssa, her heart racing as the moonlight flickered like a heartbeat. She had summoned Caden, and silence answered, heavy and oppressive. Anxiety gripped her as shadows flitted around the edges of her vision, reminding her of Mara's malevolent presence. Please, goddess of the moon, she breathed into the night, if you can hear me, grant me strength, I need him. The altar pulsed softly in response, like glimmering from the ancient runes etched in the stone. Alyssa stepped closer, feeling the rhythm of her heartbeat resonate with the power contained within it. The air thickened, a tempest of energy swirling around her, and for a fleeting moment she felt as if she could breach the barriers between realms. Caden, she cried out again, desperation tightening her throat. I want to let this curse define us. The wind howled in her ears, and she stumbled back as the very ground trembled beneath her feet. Visions flooded her mind, flashes of Caden's golden eyes, his fierce loyalty, their laughter shared under the moonlight. But alongside those memories came darker images of Mara's cruel smile, the betrayal that had forced them apart. Alyssa pressed her palms against the cool stones of the altar, seeking solace. I can't lose him. We meant to be together. With that thought, an ember of determination ignited within her. The curse might bind them, but it could not extinguish their love. She closed her eyes, inhaling deeply, and focused on the bond they shared, an unseen thread that twined around their hearts. Asterisk. Meanwhile, in the forest depths, Caden felt the disturbance in the air. Asterisk. The night was thick with tension as he hustled through the underbrush, his wolf senses heightened. The howl that had drawn him into danger echoed in his mind, intertwining with Alyssa's desperate call. He could feel her fear, an echoing pulse that tugged at his heart. Pack, he growled to himself, rallying his thoughts. Stay sharp. With each powerful stride, he pushed through the fog of dread wrapping around him. The silver thorn pack was his responsibility, but Alyssa, she was his everything, his Luna. The thought of her being harmed ignited his fury, the wolf within him howling for vengeance. As he emerged from the canopy into the clearing, he spotted Mara, poised viciously against the stone altar, a smirk dancing on her lips. She turned, her gaze sharp as a dagger. Val, the mighty alpha graces us with his presence, she mocked, her voice dripping with malice. You were just in time to witness the inevitable. Get away from her. Caden's voice was a low growl, the command sending a surge of energy through the air. Mara laughed, the sound cruel and hollow. Her heart is weak, Caden, love blinds her. You think you can save her from your fate, you've already lost. Rage boiled within him, but he kept his focus. Alyssa, he shouted, scanning the clearing for her. She has lost in her fantasies, just like you. Mara taunted, stepping closer to the altar, but the moment she did, a barrier flickered into existence around it, a glowing shield as if the very stones were protecting Alyssa. What have you done? Caden spat, his eyes narrowing as he caught sight of the wild energy pulsating around the altar. It's a little trick I learned, Mara replied, her confidence unwavering. You'll never reach her. Destiny has already written your ending, Alpha. Submit to your fate or watch your precious mate perish. Caden felt the world around him dim, the weight of betrayal and the threat to Alyssa tightening like a vise around his heart. He took a step forward, but the energy rippled in response, pushing him back. Leave her out of this, he growled, his primal instincts roaring to the surface. I can't help it if she chooses to play the martyr, Mara sneered, spinning to face the altar. She thinks her love can wield power. It's adorable, really. Caden's eyes flickered with determination. He couldn't let Mara win. Reaching deep inside, he allowed the wolf to emerge fully, muscles rippling as he shifted into his beast form. He was no longer just an alpha, he was a predator, fueled by love and duty. Beneath the moon's watchful gaze, he charged forward, the ground shaking with every powerful leap. The barrier crackled, but it held firm. The energy around it pushed against him, but he pushed back with all his might, his howl resonating through the woods. Alyssa, he called again, his voice dual-edged, both wolf and man, a primal plea that echoed through the trees. In that moment, Alyssa felt the familiar warmth of Caden's essence wrap around her, intertwining with the energy of the altar. She opened her eyes, heart pounding, and saw him standing there, fierce and unwavering, but held back by the barrier. Caden, she shouted, her voice raw with emotion. I am here. I won't let her take you, he roared, fierce determination lighting his golden eyes. Mara's laughter rang out, cruel and mocking. Look how easily he is distracted. Love makes him weak. But Alyssa felt the weight of the altar's energy shift, an undeniable connection forming between them. She reached deep within herself, focusing on their bond, the love that tied them together. Caden, you need to trust me, she cried out. We can break this together. The barrier flickered, and with each pulse of their shared connection, it wavered. Caden's instincts surged, fueling the bond, and for a moment, they were united, their souls intertwining under the moon's glow. Feel me, Alyssa, fight it, he urged, his voice breaking through the chaos. In that instant, a fierce determination surged through Alyssa. She closed her eyes, her heart sinking with Caden's rhythm. Together, she whispered, and the altar responded, energy surging through her veins like wildfire. With a primal scream, she reached out, her hands finding the warmth of the stone. We defy this curse. The barrier shattered like glass, and the energy exploded outward, sending Mara flying back with a piercing shriek. Caden surged forward, his wolf form glinting with raw power, and within moments, he was at Alyssa's side, their fingers entwined. Are you okay? He breathed, the concern etching lines of worry across his brow. Alyssa nodded, her heart racing, but the moment of relief was short-lived. Mara rose, fury twisting her features. You think you've won? You've only just begun to suffer the goddess's wrath. Enough. Caden growled, stepping protectively in front of Alyssa. You have no idea what you've stirred, Mara hissed, her eyes blazing. You dare challenge the goddess? This is a war you cannot win. Then we'll fight it together, Alyssa said, stepping beside Caden, her voice unwavering. No curse can hold us if we stand united. As the dark energy pulled around them, a flicker of doubt crossed Mara's eyes. You think love can conquer all? It has already begun to, Caden retorted, and with a fierce growl, he lunged at Mara, the two figures intertwining in a fierce battle of wills and power. Alyssa watched, heart in her throat, feeling the vibration of their bond echo through her being. Caden, together, she shouted, channeling the energy of the altar through her core. Moments stretched into eternity as they fought against the darkness encroaching on their hearts. The clearing became a tempest of power, the air electric with raw emotions as they fought not just for their love, but for the very essence of freedom. For every strike Caden took, Alyssa felt the pain, and with every pulse of energy they shared, strength flowed through them. You are not alone, she called, anchored in the bond they had forged. Mara faltered, confusion flickering across her face. No, this isn't how it is supposed to be. It is how it will be, Caden replied, his voice a low growl, fierce and unyielding. Love is not a weakness, it is our greatest strength. With one final surge of power, Alyssa and Caden joined their energies, intertwining them in a brilliant display of light that pushed against the darkness, shattering it like glass. In that moment of unity, the shadows receded, and the clearing filled with a warm golden glow. Mara screamed, consumed by the energy they had summoned, and in a flash she vanished into the depths of the forest. Breathless and shaking, Alyssa and Karen stood amidst the silence that followed, heartbeats sinking in the aftermath. "We did it," Alyssa said, astonished, hope blooming in the wake of chaos. Karen turned to her, awe painting his features. "You were incredible." Together, she whispered, tears glistening in her eyes. "We can break any curse." He stepped closer, that she was his Luna, but the goddess cussed them. Part 3. Breathless and shaken, Alyssa and Karen stood in the aftermath of their victory, the clearing around them forever marked by the intensity of their bond. The moon hung high, casting ethereal light upon them, but shadows still lingered in the edges of her heart. "I can't believe we did that," Alyssa murmured, her voice trembling with both residual adrenaline and disbelief. "But Mara," she asked, "still out there. What if she comes back?" Karen's golden eyes bored into hers, filled with an unwavering promise. Then we all faced her again, together. As he stepped forward, reaching for her, Alyssa felt the warmth of their connection bloom anew between them, a pulsating energy that radiated hope. But she could not shake the lingering fear. The weight of the goddess's curse still draped over them like a shroud. "Karen," she began, hesitation creeping into her words. "What if this was just the beginning? The goddess set this curse on us for a reason. What if she is not done?" His expression hardened, a fierce determination igniting within him. "Then we'll find a way to confront her, to break the chains of fate she has wrapped around our lives. Love is worth fighting for, Alyssa." "But what if we fail?" she whispered, her heart aching at the thought. "What if the curse is stronger than us?" Karen stepped closer, cupping her face in his hands, his touch grounding her. "We won't fail, not when we have each other, not when we dare to love." His words warned her, but doubt flickered in the back of her mind. The weight of their destiny loomed larger than the moon itself, a darkness that whispered of trials ahead. Suddenly, the air shifted, heavy with an unseen presence. Karen's posture changed, muscles tensing as he turned his gaze toward the tree line. "Did you feel that?" Before Alyssa could respond, a low growl echoed through the clearing, cutting through the air like a blade. "It is Mara," Karen said, shifting into a defensive stance, instincts on high alert. "She has not finished with us yet." Alyssa's heart raced as a figure emerged from the trees, cloaked in shadows. It was Mara, her presence a dark storm that threatened to engulf their newfound light. "You think you can defy the curse?" she sneered, hatred lacing her words. "You've only just awakened its true power. Leave us be, Mara." Karen shouted, his voice reverberating through the night. "You will not come between us again." Mara laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the clearing. "Oh, Karen, you are so naive. The goddess will not allow you to escape her wrath. You are mere mortals, playing at love, while the powers of the universe watch and wait." Alyssa felt a shiver crawl down her spine. She was not just a pawn in this game, she refused to let herself be seen as weak. "We were not afraid of you," she said, her voice steadier than her heart felt. "We will fight for our love, no matter the cost." "Love her?" Mara scoffed, advancing closer. "It is a delusion, a weakness that clouds your judgment. You are destined to suffer." "No," Ken growled, his form shifting, a battle-ready stance taken. "We are destined to triumph. Love is our strength, and nothing you do will change that." But as Karen spoke, the winds around them began to howl, a tempest brewing as if the very elements sensed the brewing conflict. "Let us test that theory, shall we?" Mara hissed, her voice morphing into a chilling chant. Alyssa felt the air thicken, darkness swirling around them as shadows danced at the edges of her vision. "Karen," she screamed, fear gripping her heart. But it was too late. The shadows surged forward, tendrils of dark energy reaching for them, wrapping around Alyssa's ankles like creeping vines. "Fight it!" Karen shouted, muscles straining against the dark force. "I can see," she cried, panic rising within her. "It is too strong." With a fierce growl, Karen tore through the shadows, racing to her side. "Together, Alyssa, remember the bond we share." Alyssa closed her eyes, focusing on Karen, anchoring herself to him. Their love was a beacon, a lifeline, and in that moment she felt the warmth of their connection surge through her. Together, she whispered, channeling all her energy into the bond they had forged. The shadows hesitated, flickering like a flame in the wind. "Enough!" Mara shouted, frustration etching her face. "You cannot fight fate. We are fate." Ken roared, lunging forward, his wolf form shimmering in the dim light. He met the dark energy with a ferocity that sent ripples through the air. Alyssa felt the power swell, an unyielding force that surged from the depths of her soul. She reached out, grasping Kaden's hand, their energies intertwining like vines climbing toward the stars. "We want to be broken," she shouted, her voice rising in a crescendo. As their lights merged, illumination filled the clearing, pushing back the shadows that clawed at their souls. The dark energy screamed, retreating from their combined strength, and for a moment, Alyssa felt invincible. But Mara's expression twisted into a dark scowl, filled with rage. "You think you can conquer the goddess as well? You're fools." With a final surge of energy, Kaden and Alyssa pushed back, sending a shockwave of light crashing into Mara. The force exploded outward, sending her staggering back into the depths of the forest with a vicious snarl. In that moment, silence enveloped the clearing, the oppressive weight lifting as the shadows retreated. Alyssa and Kaden stood, breathless, hearts racing in unison. "We did it," Alyssa breathed, disbelief washing over her. "We really did it." Kaden turned to her, golden eyes sparkling with pride and love. "I knew we could. Together, we were unstoppable." Tears filled her eyes, joy flooding her heart. "But what if she comes back? Kaden, we were still bound by the curse." His expression hardened slightly, but he stepped closer, taking her hands in his. "Then we'll prepare. We'll learn how to break it once and for all. No curse can dictate our fate when we fight with love." Their fingers intertwined, an unbreakable connection forged in battle and passion. Alyssa's heart swelled with hope, the weight of their shared destiny feeling lighter in that moment. But the world was not done testing them. The wind rustled through the trees, carrying whispers of uncertainty. "Kaden," Alyssa said, her voice softening, "what if we need more than just each other? What if the goddess has more tricks up her sleeve?" "We'll find allies," he said with resolve, squeezing her hands. "I will not let you face this alone, Alyssa. We'll gather our pack and confront the goddess together. She may think she has the upper hand, but she underestimates the power of true love." Fear still clutched at her heart, but the fire in Kaden's eyes ignited a flame within her. "Let us do it," she replied, determination flooding her voice. "Let us show her what love can truly do." As they stood together, united against the darkness, Alyssa felt the first stirrings of confidence. Together, they would delve into the depths of the unknown to reclaim their fates, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The night was still, the world holding its breath, and beneath the gaze of the moon, two souls intertwined with destiny prepared to take on the trials ahead, resolute in their love, a love that could conquer even the most sinister of curses. *** to be continued. **Hashuos is Luna, but the goddess cursed them. Part 4. The air was thick with unspoken tension as Alyssa and Kaden stood entwined in each other's arms, both exhilarated and terrified. The aftermath of their previous confrontation hung like a fragile veil, a reminder that their fight was far from over. "Are you ready?" Kaden asked softly, his breath warm against her forehead. His golden eyes held a depth of emotion that sent shivers down Alyssa's spine. Alyssa nodded, though doubt churned within her. "Ready as I'll ever be," she replied, forcing strength into her voice. "But what if it is another trap? What if the goddess is waiting for us to make a mistake?" "The goddess may be powerful, but love is more potent," Kaden said, brushing a lock of hair behind her ear. "We can't let fear dictate our decisions. We must stand united, even if the path ahead is shrouded in darkness." His words ignited a spark of determination within her. "You're right. We've already come so far. We can't let Mara or the gods win." As she spoke, she sensed the bond between them shimmer, a testament to their unwavering commitment to each other. "Let us gather the pack, then," Kaden said, releasing her with a sense of purpose. "We need to prepare for what is coming." Together, they made their way back to the Silverthorn Pack's territory, the moon casting silvery light upon the path. The woods whispered secrets, the rustling leaves echoing their uncharted journey and the uncertainty that lay ahead. As they approached the clearing where the pack often convened, a sense of foreboding settled over Alyssa. The air was still, devoid of the usual howls and chatter that marked the gatherings. "Kaden," Alyssa whispered, clutching his arm tightly. "Something feels off." He nodded, his expression grave. "Stay close." When they entered the clearing, the sight that met them stole the breath from Alyssa's lungs. The pack stood huddled together, their faces etched with worry. And at the center stood Elias, Kaden's beta, his shoulders tightly wound with tension. "What happened?" Kaden demanded, stepping forward, protective instincts flaring. Elias turned, eyes dark with concern. "Alpha, we've received news from the northern border. Mara has rallied support from the Ironclaw pack. They're replanning an attack at dawn." "What?" Kaden growled, fist clenched. "She dares to threaten our territory." "The goddess has cursed strength into her," Elias explained, voice strained. Our scouts report that she is seeking vengeance, and she won't stop until she proves her power. Alyssa felt the weight of the situation press upon her. We can't let her use fear to divide us. We have to unify our pack. Caden's gaze shifted to Alyssa, a mix of surprise and admiration flickering in his eyes. You were right. If we were going to confront Marat and the goddess, we need to stand together. Then we need to gather our allies, Elias said, resolve locking into place. The Ironclaw pack is formidable, but if we join forces, we might stand a chance. As they strategized, Alyssa felt the urgency pulse through her veins. I'll go to the Shadowfang pack. They owe us a favor, and they respect the goddess' power. If I can convince them to ally with us, it could tip the scales. Caden's expression turned serious, the protected alpha rising within him. It is too dangerous, Alyssa. I can risk losing you. Her heart raced, a wild determination coursing through her. I am not letting fear dictate my choices, Caden. This is our fight. I need to do this as much as you do. He hesitated, torn between his fierce instinct to protect her and his respect for her strength. If you're going, then I'll go with you. No, she insisted, stepping closer to him, her heart pounding. You need to lead the Silverthorn pack. They look to you. I can do this alone. I can prove myself. Caden's golden eyes flickered with uncertainty, but then he sighed, his shoulders relaxing. You were right. We need each other to lead our packs. Just promise me you'll be careful. I promise, she said, gripping his hand tightly, the bond between them sparking with energy. We'll come back stronger. With a nod, they solidified their plans. Alyssa would set off to the Shadowfang territory while Caden would rally the Silverthorn pack, preparing them for a fight. The night passed in haunting silence as Alyssa journeyed through the woods, the weight of the task before her pressing heavily. The forest felt alive, shadows swirling around her as if the very trees understood the stakes at play. Finally, she arrived at the Shadowfang pack's territory, a place shrouded in mystery and ancient magic. The air was thick with the scent of earth and pine, and Alyssa's heart raced as she approached the pack's clearing. Who dares trespass? The voice boomed from the shadows, and Zerk, the formidable alpha of the Shadowfang pack, emerged, his gaze penetrating. It is me, Alyssa of Silverthorn, she called, standing tall despite the knot of nerves in her stomach. I come seeking an alliance. Zerk's expression shifted, curiosity mingling with weariness. An alliance against whom? Mara, she replied, locking eyes with him, unwavering. She has the support of the goddess, and she is rallying forces to attack. If we dawn to unite, we risk losing everything we hold dear. He studied her for a long moment, assessing her resolve. And what makes you think I do trust you? The Silverthorn pack has always been different. You follow rules, traditions. We do not. Alyssa inhaled deeply, determination igniting within her. Because I believe in love, Zerk. Love is worth fighting for, even against the odds. If we join forces, we can defy the goddess' curse together. His piercing gaze seemed to peel away layers of uncertainty. Love is a luxury in our world, Alyssa. It is often a weakness. It is not a weakness, it is our greatest strength, she shot back, her voice firm. Caden and I have faced the darkness together. We battled Mara and survived, but we need your help to truly stand against her. Zerk's expression softened slightly, a flicker of respect in his eyes. You were brave to come here alone. I'll consider your words, but know this: if you wish to prove your worth, you must face the trials of our pack. What trials? She asked, her heart racing at the idea of further tests. You must demonstrate your loyalty and strength, he replied, crossing his arms. Tonight you will face 3 challenges: strength, wisdom, and courage. Only then will you be worthy of an alliance. Alyssa swallowed hard, but the fire within her ignited. I accept. I will do whatever it takes. The first challenge took place at the break of dawn, the sun rising like a beacon over the treetops. Zerk stood with her, the pack assembled behind him, their eyes sharp and calculating. Your first test is strength. You will face our best warrior, Ryan. Defeat him, and you will earn our respect. As Ryan stepped forward, muscles tensed and eyes fierce, Alyssa felt the gravity of the challenge settle on her shoulders. The fight was not just for herself, but for Caden and their love, for the future they fought to protect. The battle was fierce. Ryan's blows were swift, and each clash echoed in her bones, but Alyssa's resolve burned brightly. She danced through the fight, feeling the rhythm of the moment, channeling her love for Caden into every strike. With a final surge of energy, she found the opening she needed and knocked Ryan to the ground. The clearing fell silent, the pack's gazes shifting in surprise. Zerk stepped forward, nodding in approval. You've proven your strength. Now, for your second challenge, wisdom. The second trial involved a riddle steeped in Shadowfang lore. Alyssa had to navigate the depths of the forest, finding hidden runes that represented the history of their kind. As she deciphered each clue, memories of her time with Caden bubbled to the surface, the lessons of love, loyalty, and the power of unity. With each answer, she felt the bond between them strengthen, illuminating the path before her. Finally, she returned to Zeg, breathless but triumphant. Ivy solved the riddle. The runes speak of love being the greatest force, stronger than fear or darkness. Zek's expression shifted, a blend of respect and intrigue. You show wisdom beyond your years. For your final challenge, you must face your greatest fear. Alyssa's heart raced as Zeg led her deeper into the woods. Shadows loomed, and the air grew cold, her instincts screaming that danger lurked in the darkness. As they approached a clearing, a figure emerged, Amara, her eyes gleaming with malice. "Ah, the little Omega, come to face your doom." Alyssa's heart pounded, the memories of Mara's previous threats flooding her mind.